meditate for, at least a half an hour or an hour. You can meditate in the time that you have. Ideally, about 20 minutes is effective. And what I mean by that is that over time, as you develop a consistent meditation practice, about 20 minutes, once or twice a day, is going to start to yield some benefits. So, some of the benefits would be physical, like you can lower your blood pressure and you can get better sleep and things like that. But also just emotionally, to become non-reactive, so when something happens and it really upsets you, you either react in a measured way or you don't feel the need to react at all. So there's a meditation master, Joseph Goldstein, who says that the mind is like a rope. And if you react to every stimulus that is sent your way, you will get burned. A rope will burn. So the goal of meditation in his mind is to become the type of person where things can happen to you and maybe it didn't work out as planned, but you accept it as just part of the flotsam and jetsam of life. Sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't. And it's not a personal assault on you. It's just the way things are. So we're going to sit in silence for, about 20 minutes-ish. And if you would like to say a word that is meaningful to you, then you can go ahead. Some people say Om. Some people say peace. And this is something that, as you're sitting in silence, if you find your mind drifting away off to, your grocery list or what you have to do tomorrow, start saying Om or peace or everything will be all right, a phrase that feels important to you. It doesn't have to be anything that means anything. It can be a sound. It can be a hum. So think about that. And, unlike a yoga class, you don't have to set an intention for your meditation. It's really counterintuitive to do so because we just let it go. We let it flow where it flows. And, I think that's really important to just allow yourself to meet yourself where you are, whatever kind of day you've had, whatever you have planned, whatever went off the rails, just to meet yourself in that space and allow it to happen. 1 second. So I just had a question that someone is not good, has a hard time with yoga nidra. Yoga nidra is something totally different. It's yogic sleep is what yoga nidra means. And it's more of a guided thing where you're laying down and you're encouraged to, envision, whatever the person is saying. So it might be, you're by a stream or you're on a mountaintop and then you feel a breeze, things like that. Sometimes that can be really hard because it forces you to engage your mind, The type of meditation we're doing here is just this simple meditation where we just sit and we really don't do much of anything else. You don't need anything special. You just need to allow yourself to occupy the space that you're in. I think that, the thoughts that come and go do not define you. And the minute we label something as a good thought or a bad thought is the minute that we attach to it. So allowing your thoughts to just exist alongside your own stillness. So it can exist, it's allowed. It doesn't mean you have to attach or engage. You can let it go. And those thoughts are no reflection on who you are as a person, even if it sounds like a thought that's a little bit unusual, whatever that may be. Um, so when a thought comes, allow it to come, allow it to pass. When a noise occurs, so that might be your dog or your cat or the radiator starting up or a siren, um, these things are allowed to exist. They are allowed to exist alongside your stillness. And it doesn't mean there's the siren, ugh, it just ruined it for me. Oh, my dog's barking, it ruined it for me. Dogs will bark, sirens will ring, and they are allowed to. That's their inherent nature. So wherever you are, if you have any sort of distractions, allow them to be. So we're going to begin with a really simple practice that will help us contain our thoughts. So this is a little bit of energy work. So wherever you are, I happen to be sitting down today. Just take your hands and place them so the heel of the hand is on your temples. So my hair out of the way. So, right there. And if you want to just kind of rub a little bit side to side, sometimes that can feel really awesome. I mean, almost always it does. I don't know when it doesn't. But when you're ready, let your hands become still and just let the fingers fall on top of the head. And then if it feels good to you, you can cast your gaze to the floor or you can close your eyes. So if closing your eyes doesn't feel safe, by all means, you can keep them open. If casting them down feels better, then you can do that. If this becomes a lot to hold on to, you can drop the elbows. You can put your elbows on a table if you'd like to. So, whatever feels good. Anyway, from here, just take a little time to feel your hands on your head, the weight of your hands. And just imagine your thoughts kind of bumping up against the edges of your hands. You're creating a boundary for your thoughts. They do not have to run amok. You can have a boundary for your thoughts to keep them from running wild. And imagine your hands are creating this boundary, a container, a vessel. When you're ready, take your left hand and slide it to the back of your head and bring your right hand and put it on the front of your forehead. Same thing. Feel what you feel. How do your hands feel on your head? Imagine that you're creating this imaginary wall or boundary, and your thoughts can only go this far. When you're doing this on your own, you can hold this for as long as it feels effective. Some days that might just be a minute or two. Other days it might be 5 minutes before you feel like you have created this boundary, this space where your thoughts can exist, but where your thoughts are not given free rein. Keep the hand on the back of the head and bring the hand that's on your forehead to your heart. Just pay attention to what you feel. Does your hand feel the fabric of your shirt? Or maybe your hand is right on your skin. You feel your heartbeat or maybe the slightest rise of your chest as you breathe. Slide the hand that's on your heart to your belly. Bring the hand that's on the back of your head to your heart. So we end up with one hand on our heart, one hand on our belly, and breathe. Try to keep the breath in the abdomen the low side ribs. Imagine that your breath is going low in between your hip bones, and the hand on your chest barely moves. Release both hands so that they just fall in your lap, and you can cup one hand on top of the other or not. Maybe they come to your thighs, wherever it feels good for you. Just pay attention to the inhale and the exhale. If you have a word that is meaningful to you, Om, peace, hope, love, whatever that may be, or a phrase, it might mean something that's very significant to you. It could be shalom. Everything will be all right. And you can say this word a few times to yourself. And if you feel your thoughts starting to collide or run wild, or the dog barks, return to your word or phrase. And don't mind the time. That's my job. I'll take care of that. You have nowhere else to be. You have nothing else to do. You have nowhere to be. Don't mind the time. I've got it. Don't mind the time. whatever word you may have chosen or phrase, begin to bring it back. And just repeat to yourself. Notice your breath, how it's moving and where it's moving. And as we begin to slide away from our practice, if it's comfortable for you, drop your chin to your chest. Notice your breath again. And blink your eyes open. Allow yourself to get used to the light in the room. And then when you're ready, you can lift your chin, center your head. So, taking some time, um, even if it might not have felt restful, it's still time. It's still time you've set aside and time that you've taken for yourself. So no matter the chaos, um, you still put yourself in this space where silence and stillness um, can reign for 15 or 20 minutes. Um, you know, you don't have to sit perfectly. You can move if your nose itches or your hand fell asleep or you feel like you need a different position in your chair or wherever, then you can do that. Your meditation practice can be your own. It can look like what you want it to look like. It requires very little. It requires 15 or 20 minutes once or twice a day, a comfortable place to sit, and the willingness to sit with even the uncomfortable thoughts, because they will come up. And when they do, and if they're too much to bear, then dropping your chin, you can let your eyes open for a bit, sit until the feeling passes, and then resume. That's okay. So, maybe once in the morning, once at night, or whenever your schedule allows. So that doesn't work for everybody. And once a day sometimes is all that you have time for. But if you start to bring in a meditation practice into your week, it won't be overnight, but you will start to feel yourself gain a sense of calmness and clarity when you are triggered, or when your day just doesn't go as planned. So I hope that you give it a try. We do have a meditation practice every month, and many, many times it is simply just 20 minutes to sit. Sometimes we do a specific type of meditation, but more often than not, once a month, it will just be the opportunity to sit, pick a word maybe, or not, and allow yourself the time and space and opportunity to do nothing else. Nothing else is required of you. So if you have any questions, let me know. Next month we are doing, let me double check my notes because I want to get it right. Next month we are doing, let's see, October, yikes. Oh, it's a meditation with the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve starts at the brain and it runs through the eyes, into the ears, the jaw, the neck, the heart, the stomach, the large intestine. It kind of, it plays a role in every major body process that we have. So, and there are ways to activate it. And there is some research with MS that activating the vagus nerve can be helpful. So there'll be lots of simple things to do to activate your vagus nerve. Anyway, another note in October, I'm teaching 2 classes in a row. Usually Gretchen and I go every other week, but because she's going to be on her honeymoon, I have 2 classes back to back. So it's a little bit of a jog for October, but then we're back to normal in November. So anyway, if you don't have any questions, then thank you so much for joining. I hope you give it a try, and remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like you've been sitting on a mountaintop for 6 hours. It can be messy. It's usually how it is. So have a wonderful rest of your evening. And thank you so much. It's always an honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks, guys.